In a world where there is distortion in every corner that you look into, be your own damn guru. What the Orwelly is going on? That's right, I am referencing George Orwell. 1984 has entered the chat. Lately, there has been distortion in the simulation more than usual. I'm seeing spiritual leaders go through tower moments. I'm seeing some other people change the meaning of words because that's a concept that we're now dealing with. Many times we have interesting people rise to the top, not because of who they are, but because of what they can reflect and teach us. It's a very important archetype for humanity. Before we get into today's topics, I want to thank anyone we're even speaking on because their soul has signed up to be on the front lines to teach the greater collective consciousness how to rise. This isn't about the people we are speaking on as much as it is actually about us and what we're going to learn from them. Everyone is our mirror, and today we're unpacking the energetic distortion happening in real time from some spiritual influencers that you may know and even love. We're going to be talking about Aubrey Marcus and TheWizardLiz and what we can learn from them. What's up, positive bitches? How are we doing today? If you're hearing this episode, then you are meant to be here, so keep listening. On that Bitches Positive podcast, sometimes we will laugh, other times, baby, we're gonna cry, but we will always walk away feeling our most empowered, positive bitch self. That is babe in true connection with herself, himself, or human self. On this podcast, we unbecome who we are not so we can fully step into exactly who we came here to be. If you have not yet gotten your copy of Show Up As Her and you're ready to magnetize your most magnetic life towards you, then be sure to grab a copy. The link will be in the show notes. Of course, you know I have every course underneath the sun, whether you need a 21-day breakup glow up course or you want to work on shadow alchemy, the art of alchemy, you can find my courses in the link in the show notes. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. I'm seeing a lot of people in the spiritual community feel like something's off with Aubrey Marcus's last podcast, but everyone's so afraid to make a judgment call. Everyone's so afraid to say what they feel based on their own discernment. Well, guess what? I'm not afraid to be a bitch, and I'm not afraid to say exactly what I think and what I feel. I came to this planet and incarnated to understand my own authority, my own voice, my own perspective, my own judgments. Your body has bodily ancient wisdom to tell you when something's off, when something doesn't resonate with you. This doesn't mean that we hate on someone else for living a different way. It doesn't mean we hate on someone for not aligning with our values, because that would be enmeshment and that doesn't help us. But we are allowed and should be speaking up for ourselves and sharing our opinions. Everyone wants the wellness community to be all love and light. But guess what? It's not. There's a ton of shadows. How do you think we all got here? By trying, attempting, or working through our shadows. We are not meant to blindly follow other people. Hello? You're meant to be yourself. You're meant to learn mostly from your own intuitive cues. That's your navigation system. Instead of getting hypnotized by likes or who has followers or who has the most money or their words, it's time we get in tune with our own discernment, because your truth is not going to be screaming at you. It's actually going to be whispering, and it's up to you how you want to respond to that said truth. My intention with this podcast isn't to hate on anyone, because I don't care about anyone enough to actually hate on them. I don't care that much. My intention is to use my own voice and express exactly whatever it is that I'm feeling from my own intuitive space. If you're not in the know about all the drama that's been currently going down, I'm first going to unpack that, and then we're going to learn what we can from both of these people. Aubrey Marcus is someone I don't really follow The Wizard Liz, also someone I don't really follow. I really believe this incarnation is for us to learn how to follow our own intuition, our own compass, our own guidance system. So I am not well versed on either of these people, but I have gathered enough information for this podcast. Okay. Aubrey Marcus. I was first introduced to him by seeing a video of him online, and he was on massive amounts of drugs. And I saw someone who was just not grounded, someone who is not embodying a divine masculine essence of safety. He did not feel like a secure container to me. His energy felt a bit ungrounded. That was my introduction to him. When I saw more of who he was, I learned that he is one of the bigger names in the spiritual and wellness community. I learned that he has his own business, and I learned that he has a wife. I then learned his past. He was in a polyamorous relationship, and eventually he has done a lot of plant medicine and figured out that he wanted to practice and be in a monogamous relationship. What has gone completely viral about Aubrey Marcus is he recently had a podcast episode where they said there's a new pattern of sacred relationship. There was Aubrey, his wife Alana, someone who is apparently a doctor, cricket, and his new girlfriend, Alana. We'll get there. He explains on the podcast that he was at the gym and God told him to get onto Raya. And when he went on Raya, he saw Alana, and he just knew that his once monogamous relationship had to open up to allow Alana in. They meet up with Alana. They really like her. I believe by the second date, they already have her in a plant ceremony, which is really intense, on intense drugs. And he then continues on and says he was in Egypt, I believe, and he heard Isis tell him that he must impregnate both his wife and now this girl, Alana. And his wife was destroyed by this information. She was really upset. She goes in and says how she's never felt chosen. Other men have cheated on her, impregnated other women while with her. So this was a really core wound it was hitting on. And we're going to get into all of that. But before we continue to speak on this, once again, this is not about them. I actually honor and respect how willing they are to be transparent about their relationship status. I do like that they're willing to share in a public sphere, but by doing that, you also give us permission to not just mirror back, but give our intuitive thoughts on this. And there's been a lot of pushback from the spiritual community, and Aubrey saying how everyone is just casting their shadow and judging him. Babe, I'm not judging you, but I am looking at you through my perception, my perspective, and using my own intuition to make discerned decisions about what I feel and think about what you're putting into the public arena. If you are allowed to state what your truth is, so are other people, and that doesn't mean they're judging you. It means that they are expressing how they feel. I want to first say that Aubrey kept making a point, along with his doctor, that monogamy is a problem because people cheat and marriages break up. You can't blame monogamy as the problem. That is blaming the effect. That's looking at the physical 3D. You have to look at the root because the root produces the fruit. Blaming monogamy is going to the effect and blaming the effect rather than the cause. Monogamy isn't the problem. The people who enter into a relationship and haven't healed themselves, that's the problem. People are not that well. People need healing. They need love. They need grace. And they don't have that. What people have is wounding. And because on a large scale, people practice monogamy, they're in monogamous relationships, we see that break up the most because that's mainly what people are entering. But it's not monogamy that's the problem. The root of it is the people themselves are at war in their own vessel. People themselves are not okay. So, of course, you put another person with them, they're not going to be okay either. Adding another problem or person doesn't make the original root any better. I personally don't care if someone wants to be in a polyamorous relationship. If you want to be poly, be poly. If you want to practice abstinence, practice abstinence. You do you. You have free will. You incarnated on this planet to learn certain soul lessons. And I think that Aubrey Marcus thinks everyone's mad at him for practicing a polyamorous relationship. But that's not why people are upset. People are upset because you're changing the meaning of words. Instead of Aubrey Marcus being honest and saying, I just want to sleep with other women. I just want to impregnate multiple women. I just want a relationship with multiple women. So I want to be poly. Instead of him saying that, he's not saying that. He's saying this isn't polyamory. He's saying this is an evolution. This is a new sacred pattern of love. And you know what he's calling it? Radical monogamy. Inherently, that makes no damn sense. What does mono mean? It means one. A monogamous relationship is you with one other person. As soon as you add a third into that dynamic, it is polyamory. It is not a monogamous relationship. For you to change what a word means is Orwellian doublespeak. Doublespeak is when language is manipulated to hide the truth. Think radical monogamy. That's actually just polyamory. This isn't liberation. This is manipulation of word. And when you have millions of followers who look up to you, who are vulnerable, with great power comes great responsibility. This is not responsible. This is not okay. Now, hear me when I say, no one cares if you want to be in a polyamorous relationship. You do you, bro. But to change the meaning of a word and try to convince people, no, this is what this means now, is messed up. That's like saying no means yes and yes means no, red means go and green means stop. If we start changing the meanings of words, what does anything mean anymore? Nothing will mean anything anymore. You can't just do that. That is not okay. You say people are projecting, but we're actually mirroring back to you that you are not making sense. If 50 people see a fire and they point to the fire and say, hey, there's a fire over there, are they projecting or are they calling out what is happening in the energetic realm? If 50 people notice that there's a red light and they stop and they listen to the red light, are they projecting or are they accurately mirroring back what they're perceiving? I don't think it's your audience who has all these shadows that they're trying to escape from. I honestly think it's you. Because if you are, to be honest with yourself, you would just say, I want to be in a polyamorous relationship. And literally no one would care. Except your wife, who has stated multiple times that she never wanted that, who would cry throughout the whole entire podcast, and who seems really traumatized by what you're doing to her. But hey, she has free will and she's choosing to stay in the dynamic. Again, that's her choice and everyone deserves choice. I don't agree with a polyamorous relationship, but I agree that you should be able to do what you want. I want to be monogamous. If you were to tell me I couldn't, that would be a problem for me. In this podcast, I'm seeing the wife just relive a wound that she has not mastered yet. She has said that she's been cheated on, that she has this wound of not feeling good enough, that she has this issue with self-love, and she's a beautiful, amazing person. And I really don't want to drag on anyone because it takes a lot of effort and energy to be honest about your situation. What I saw on this podcast disturbed me because I saw this Dr. Mark and I saw Aubrey inviting Valana to basically erase her intuition. If you listen to the podcast, you see Valana's not okay with this. She's crying. I feel my sister's in pain. And it honestly, I have goosebumps right now because I don't know her, but I felt her. And that woman is not feeling okay where she's at, okay? And she has free will, and I honor and respect how she wants to move on this planet. And I hope she could do the same for me. But I'm seeing a woman erase her own intuition and listen to two men, Dr. Mark and Aubrey. I'm seeing a woman say she has to slay her dragons of jealousy and her wounds when it's really her intuition screaming at her. The reason she's struggling so badly with entering a polyamorous relationship is because she doesn't want to. But because of the love she has for her husband, she's basically being convinced to. I'm seeing her say she's trying to slay her own dragons when really I see a woman And I've been that woman before, so I know how to recognize that woman who's ignoring her own intuition, who wants to be chosen, who wants to be claimed, and has always wanted to be chosen and claimed, but is still not. And when she thought she was chosen and claimed and got married to someone who said he would give her monogamy, but then changed his tune, once again, that worst fear is being reignited. She said when she was a child and her mother had her little sister, she felt unwanted, unchosen. And once again, that theme has followed her. And my biggest problem with Aubrey, and honestly, their dynamic, is that the both of them practice a lot of plant medicine. I don't see them taking time to integrate it, though. I have nothing against plant medicine. I went to a spiritual retreat in February and I did plant medicine. I was invited to go on another retreat about a month later. I said no because I needed time to integrate everything I saw during the plant ceremonies. You don't realize that when you open yourself up, whether it's an Ouija board or plant medicine, you're opening yourself up to a lot of different energies, and you have to make sure you're really grounded to first understand what you're even receiving, because you could be receiving energy from a demonic entity, someone who has recently passed away, or it could be divinity itself. You don't necessarily know, because you're just opening yourself up, and you do have to be careful. If you open yourself up and then you don't even take time to integrate, was that truthful what I received? Was that in alignment with me? Or was that a lower vibrational entity that was just passing through me? I don't really see a lot of integration. I see a lot of plant medicine ceremonies. I see a lot of dancing. I see a lot of festivals. I don't see a lot of integration. And that's a problem. And I know that's a problem because I've done this myself. I'm speaking from experience. You need time to sit with what you see. You need time to sit with what you experience, because those experiences do feel very real, because they are real. Maybe not on an earthly realm, but they are real. But if you don't take time to integrate them, you can become very ungrounded. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing two people lie to themselves. I'm seeing Aubrey Marcus say he wants honesty, radical monogamy. But he's lying to himself, because actually he just wants to be polyamorous. And in a past relationship, he actually was polyamorous. I'm seeing Valana say she's okay with this dynamic when really her intuition is screaming, get out of here. She doesn't have a jealousy problem. That's her intuition saying she prefers monogamy. She wants to feel chosen. She wants to feel claimed. There's a beautiful dynamic between a man and a woman. When a man says, I want to be with you, and claims that woman, it makes us blossom like a flower. And an amazing effect on the masculine energy is he gets a boost in testosterone. He gets to feel like, this is my woman I'm going to protect and provide for. The reason I have such a problem with this episode is because it was really trying to project radical honesty. That is what's going to solve everything. But it was wrapped in lies. Just listen to what Dr. Mark was saying when he was trying to explain what radical monogamy is, because it was absolute mumbo jumbo. It was a word salad.
We've given this a name. We're calling it radical monogamy in the field of erotic mystics. So paradoxically, this is not about polyamory. That's the paradox. It's actually about radical monogamy, meaning deep, exclusive, lifelong, committed relationship, right? But not in the classical monogamous sense. It's an expanded monogamy. But there's a radical monogamy, but it's just not a monogamy of two. It's a slightly bigger monogamy. But it's not, okay, we're not like moving in and out of partners. No, it's not the polyamory road. It's not the classical monogamy mode. It's a radical monogamy of deep exclusivity between Aubrey and Vi. And then there's going to be a new goddess who will step into the field, who will also step into this field of radical monogamy.
Anyone who listens to that is going to have question marks pop up, because that didn't make any damn sense. Just say the truth. The truth is you want to be polyamorous. Just say that. Don't try to make this an evolution when it's not. Don't try to say it's radical monogamy and change the language and practice doublespeak. Just be honest. People are not mad because you're in a polyamorous relationship. We're mad because you're trying to lie to us because you won't face your own shadow, and then you're saying that we're projecting onto you. My other problem with this is we don't know the energy form that told him to impregnate both women. that could be God, or it could be any other entity that you mistranslated as God. And where else have we heard a man say that his purpose in life is to impregnate a bunch of women? Where was that? Oh yeah, just about every single cult I've ever read about in my whole entire life started with a man thinking it was his dominion to conquer a bunch of women and impregnate them, conquering over collaboration. Just about every cult. I have to be honest, I feel like there is some sort of entity that is weaving its way through specific men and whispering in the ear of these men to impregnate a bunch of women, not for a divine purpose, but because this parasitic entity is trying to expand on planet Earth. What does energy naturally do? It expands. Whether it's positive energy or negative energy, it expands. Negative entities want to run amok on the planet. So what do? They claw themselves into the psyche of individuals. Entities like to take control. An entity will try to take control of someone by whispering insecure thoughts in their ear, by inviting them, seducing them through alcohol, through drugs, or seducing them through the opposite sex, making them very highly sexual, erotic. To me, as soon as I hear a man say it's his purpose to impregnate multiple women, and he believes it's for some higher purpose, that's an energetic signature to me of a lower vibrational entity that's trying to spread on planet Earth. And it's trying to spread through the man now into these women. I think the other part of this massive clapback is people really looked up to Aubrey, and now that they're seeing the side of him, they're mad. But you can't be mad at someone for making their own personal choices. You can be mad at them for lying to themselves and then projecting it, but no one should be your guru in the first place. You are your own guru. You came down to planet Earth to have your own perspective, your own thoughts, your own energy, not to blindly follow another person. That's not why you're on this planet. And you have to have a come to self moment and realize no one is your guru. You are meant to learn from many people, but ultimately choose based on your own feeling about what you're perceiving in this world. This makes me think about Jesus Christ. His intention wasn't for us to follow him, but for us to be like him. He wanted to teach us how to go to that secret place within, how to hear God from within, how to trust ourselves, how to be our own compass, not blindly follow people who just rise to the top. Because these people will mirror things back to us, but they are not meant to lead us to ourselves. We are meant to find ourselves. Ascension is not upwards, but inwards. Now, why are we talking about Wizard Liz? She's also someone in the mindset wellness community. Again, I don't really follow her nor Aubrey Marcus, but they're just people we can learn from. She has recently got engaged and now pregnant, apparently. And then she posted either today or yesterday that her fiance cheated on her. She dated this man because over the years, he would just hit her up every now and again on Instagram, just send her love and positivity. And then she ended up seeing him at an airport, and then they started dating, and then he proposed to her and they were engaged. You have to be so careful of the people you engage with, the people you entangle with, the people that you date, the people you have sexual relationships with, because if you engage with an energy harvester, you're not going to like what happens. There are people in this realm who they don't want to date you, they want to be you. They're attracted to you, not for you, but for what you're able to master in the energetic realm. They're attracted to you because of how you glow, how you move in this realm, how you're connected to divinity, how you are able to master the elements and manifest, how you are able to have dominion over your own body. You have autonomy. You are a master manifester. They see that and they think they're attracted to you, but really subconsciously they want to be you. And when you then have sex with them, what is sex? Sexual energetic exchange. There's an energy transference that happens. And the more you give your divine feminine essence to them, the more you give them your energy, they then start to rise in vibration. They take your blessings and you take on their karma. Suddenly, you'll notice your results start to slow. You start to feel bloated, acne. Your hair starts to become very thin, frail. You start noticing you're not making as much money. You feel tired all the time. And they now have a glow. They're doing better in business. They're attracting a following. Suddenly, they are now becoming more attractive to other women. Other women are hitting them up, or they have the confidence now, self-esteem that has risen because you've given them your attention and your energy, so they think they can get another woman, and they act out, and they start DMing other women, which is what happened to the Wizard Liz. You have to be careful about who you're allowing into your orbit. I don't have to believe in gravity, but if I walk off a cliff, I'm going to fall. You don't have to believe in energetic law, but if you have sex, you have relations, you give this person your time, your presence, they're going to take your energy and they're going to use it, and you're going to end up with their lower vibrational energy and their karma. These energy harvesters, these men who take feminine essence and then run with it, who claim that they just have all this sexual energy, they are just people who are ungrounded and not in control of themselves. I used to binge on food. That's not because I have all this energy. It's because I didn't know how to cope. It's because I was running from myself. When I can't control what I eat, that's not self-mastery. I'm ungrounded and I'm choosing a maladaptive coping mechanism. When someone needs to have sex with a bunch of women, they need to go out and talk to a bunch of women. That's not energetic mastery. That's not a new sacred pattern of love. That's someone lacking control. That's not a hard thing to understand. When someone can't control their sexual energy so much that they need to just run out, talk, and be with other women, they're just spilling it everywhere. That's not evolved. That's undisciplined. The truth is, abstinence and holding on to your energy, breathing it into your pineal gland is not about repression. It's about energetic mastery. It's about being so sovereign that you get to choose when and how to share your life force. Masters, monks, these people who enter into close ties with divinity, that's purposeful living. There is power in that restraint, and there's magnetism in that control. But when you're saying, oh, I just have all this energy that I need to share it with everyone, you're just lacking discipline. Now, if you want to do that, I'm no one to say that you can't. Go off. Go live your life. But don't call it radical monogamy. Call it polyamory. Don't say you want someone like Wizard Liz, a powerful woman, a woman in her divine energy, and then take it and try to get someone else. Be careful who you exchange energy with, because Valana is giving her beautiful divine essence to her husband, and now he has so much energy that he's ready for another woman. Be careful, because the Wizard Liz was sharing her energy with someone who was an energy harvester and honestly was a fan. And then he took it and he thinks he needs another woman. When you give your attention, your energy, your essence to these men, be careful about who you share it with, because then they get on a high horse off your energy and they think they can do better. The problem in both of these dynamics is they are unequal. Let's first talk about Aubrey Marcus. He is with women who really look up to him. When I hear his wife talk about him, she seems to really love him. The new girlfriend, who is much younger and weirdly has a similar name, Alana, to his wife, Valana. They're both from Hawaii. Very weird parallels. These women both seem to really look up to him and really respect him. And maybe we can understand that because he has these businesses that he's successful in. He has a following. They are looking up at him. So that makes it harder, I believe, for them to stand up for what they really want. I feel that they really want to be chosen, that they're just not choosing themselves. And divine union isn't about pedestaling another person. You can't make this man your idol. You can't make him your god, but you also don't want him to be your fan. You need an emperor if you are that empress. You need that king if you are that queen. You need someone who can equally energetically match you. The Mary Magdalene and the Jesus Christ. A man cannot have someone who's worshiping him because he will go off the rails. He will have so much of her divine feminine essence that he's then going to want to give that out to another woman. Aubrey Marcus needs someone to accurately reflect his truth. I don't see Aubrey Marcus as a villain. I don't see Villana as a villain. I don't see anyone here as a villain. I see people as subject to energetic law. The fact he's trying to come up with a new term, doublespeak, say radical monogamy, tells me he's just not being honest with himself. And maybe it's outside of his awareness. Maybe it's in a blind spot. But either way, we have to meet these people in truth, not just worship them. Not just say, okay, you're where you're at, so we are just going to look up at you. No. Your wife might look up at you. Your new girlfriend might look up at you. I'm not going to do that, okay? I'm a human. I have as much power and discernment as you. We all do. This is not standing in truth. This is living in illusion and trying to blanket it with spiritual jargon. And it's honestly bullshit. What I'm seeing is not romance. I'm seeing red flags. I'm not seeing divine union. I'm seeing distortion. I think that radical honesty is actually being weaponized because it's all draped in illusion. What I noticed about both of these dynamics, Aubrey Marcus and TheWizardLiz, is their marriage or engagement went very quickly. Even Aubrey Marcus with this new girlfriend, their second date, I believe it was, she was in a plant ceremony with them, which is very intense. That's a very quick moving. This girl who's 29 years old, she is free will. She is choosing this dynamic. So that is her choice. But she did say she was feeling really lost. She was in the middle of a lot of changes. And here comes this man with power and status putting her into a plant ceremony. I don't know about that. I don't know. Something is a little off. More power to you if that's what you want to do. Something feels off. Divine union is not found in emotional chaos and quickness. And this is something I've had to learn too. There were many times I thought that divine union was this quick, oh my God, I see you and everything's amazing and we're in love. No, divine union is really about supported, consistent, and repeated valued action towards a person that you want to pursue. TheWizardLiz also, it felt like an incredibly fast engagement. And I don't think that allows you to see all that there is. I think it allows illusion to actually run rampant. If you want to see the truth of someone, well, the truth always stands the test of time, and it takes time. It's a red flag, not romance, if things are moving extremely quickly. It's a red flag if choosing someone makes you completely abandon yourself. And I find it fascinating. We live in a world of so many options, and so many people are open to this, open to that, but no one's really anchored in anything anymore. And it's this paradox of choice. When you go onto Netflix, there's so many options that what do? You end up spending so much time looking that you choose nothing. I honestly feel that polyamory, while it may work for some people, to me, I would be so distracted with all these different connections, trying to get to know all these different people, that it would never allow me to go deep enough in one direction where I actually could get to know someone in all these different facets. Think about what distraction is. It's constant stimulation outside of yourself. How do you have enough time to get to know yourself on a deep level and this other person in front of you if there's 10 of you or 5 of you or even 3 of you? To me, polyamory, or this new pattern and whatever the hell they're talking about, is actually distraction, distortion, and takes you further away from divine union, this deep sacred knowing of oneself and another. However, if that's what they want to do, I don't judge them for that. I don't care. It has no effect on me. But I also get to say what I think and what I feel. I think there's a lot of swiping, a lot of more, and not enough discernment. That feeling in your body of, I don't really want to do this. I actually have a feeling that something isn't right. TheWizardLiz even said she had dreams, she had intuition that something was off, and she ignored it. When you ignore your intuition, not only are you not chosen because you're not choosing yourself and listening to your body, but you're never going to like the result. I can just tell you that. I think a lot of us have not listened to our intuition enough times that we don't need to do that anymore. I think that the spiritual community is going through its own healing. Again, the root produces a fruit. What we're seeing in the spiritual space is the result of unhealed roots. And I'm not here to hate or judge, but I'm here to bring clarity because guess what? Everything's not love and light. And I see a lot of people commenting on other people in the spiritual community, and they're so afraid to make a judgment, a call. They're so afraid to use their discernment. Well, I'm not. If I see something that's weird or something that feels off, I'm going to say it. It's my divine right to do so. That's why I'm Cece. That's why I incarnated as this person, to use my own voice and trust that as authority. In a world of distortion, be your own damn guru. Follow your own intuitive guidance. That's really what I want this podcast to be about. Learning to take everyone's lessons with a grain of salt and test them off your own intuition. This is why, instead of dating the dusties, date the divine. Spend time with God, with divinity. Tune into your angelic team, because that is what's going to row you to success. Instead of being disappointed in these people that you thought were on this pedestal, de-pedestal everyone, de-center everyone, and put yourself on your rightful throne. Because this incarnation is about you, that you use your own authority, that you tap into your own divinity, that you listen to your own intuition, not that you blindly follow other people. To wrap this up, again, I don't care what other people are doing. I send love to Valana, and I even send love to Aubrey Marcus. I hope that he can be honest with himself, and I hope love and joy and abundance for everyone. I don't want anyone to be suffering. I send love to TheWizardLiz. I know that she will be okay and she will transmute this, because when you cut an energy harvester out of your life, you have the grandest and best glow up of your whole entire existence. So more power to her. And I hope that the guy who cheated on her, who even cares what his name is, he learns his lesson, because he has a soul lesson in this, just like we all do. We're all learning. We all are going to have our opinions, and those opinions sometimes might even change. But today, where I am right now, this is what I'm feeling, and I'm always going to be honest. I don't care who I'm speaking up against. I don't care what people think of me. They can think what they want, just like I get to think what I want. I don't want there to be an attack on the divine union between two people, because I really think there is one. I do believe that there is a lower vibrational entity that is hooking its claws into people and whispering in their ear to impregnate a bunch of women, that this is somehow powerful. But to me, this actually sounds like the wounded feminine. It's ungrounded, it's shaky, it's needy of validation and attention from the opposite sex, and even needing to feel like they're important, and that somehow raises them up if they have all these women looking at them. And I really just pray and hope the best for everyone. I'm sending love to everyone we talked about. And again, I just want to thank them on a soul level for showing up in the public sphere and sharing their story and their life with us. They don't have to do that. And obviously they were meant to, because it's bringing up a lot of conversation that we're all engaging with. So really, thank you to them for at least being honest in a way they know how, even if they're not completely honest with themselves. Instead of getting dragged into distortion, always bring back information to the divine. Pray about it, meditate on it, journal about it. You have so much power. Again, even everything I'm saying is with a grain of salt. I love you so much. It's 3:33 on my clock. You are being supported. The sparkle in me honors the sparkle in you, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah.